Hello and welcome, my semi-sweet chocolate chips dipped in Chris's white creamy chocolate goo. It's SJB here, and we are currently on Chimps mode. But what I want to do for you guys, I want to play a little bit different than usual. I'm not going to do a crazy strategy. I'm not going to do anything wonky. I just want to show you guys a basic breakdown of Chimps mode and how you can possibly be better at it. So I picked a reasonably difficult map. It's got two different paths that Bloons can come in. It's one of my least favorite maps, to be honest, because it's difficult in weird ways. But I think we can break it down and make it a lot easier for everybody. So the first thing I'm going to suggest is, if you don't have any monkey money and you don't have a lot of different heroes, Quincy is probably still your best bet. Oben, not bad. You can still use almost anybody in like a reasonable way, but I like Quincy because he's solid all the way through the game, and he does all types of popping power eventually, which is nice to have, because if you make a mistake and you forget about something, he can kind of do it, at least good enough for you. But we're going to break this down into round 0 to 20, or 6 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, and 80 to 100. And the first thing you're to note is that all you want to do is just get projectiles from rounds 6 to 20. The more projectiles you have, the better off you're going to be. I promise you that. So we're going to go for Quincy. We're going to go for a Dart Monkey. You can go for almost anything you want, though. Buccaneer, Tag Shooter, I don't know, Druids, or what I like, the Engineer. Here we go. It's engineering time. We're going to throw the Engineer towards the back. I want him to be my cleanup tower, and I want him to have a lot of projectiles. So his regular nails are not bad, but the key to him is the top path upgrades. Sentry Gun and faster engineering, and then even Sprockets is pretty fantastic. And you can even go fourth here if you're really feeling kind of spicy about it. Want to get that little bit extra balloon pop and power on your team. But for now, the main goal is just to get as many things on the screen as possible that could just pop things. All right, here is our Sentry Gun. Faster engineering, only $430, but at this point, we've just upped ourselves from 1, 2, 3 different projectile shooting things to now 5 or 6 different projectile shooting things. And that means random balloons trying to sneak through our defense are much, much less likely to have that happen. So again, there's no magic formula that just works on every single map, but we got like a general idea of what we're supposed to do. Right now, the general idea is projectiles. All right, we're gonna go faster engineering as well, and I think I'm probably gonna go all the way up to Sprockets. The more sentries that I have, the better I'm gonna feel. So here we go. Round 15 is a very difficult round. In fact, out of the total of the 20 rounds here, I would say that round 15 is the most difficult round of them all for its time. You know, of course, you make more money, an extra $500, $700, $800 by the time you get to round 19 or 20, so you have more room to play around with. But at this point, round 15, for the amount of money that you have saved up, is a fairly difficult round. All right, here we go. We got Sprockets going as well, and that's kind of the end of this section of the video. This will defend easily. We have enough projectiles on the screen that we will not let anything sneak through. Not at all. And we don't even need to use abilities or anything. It's just going to defend. But now we have to start thinking about what's going to happen between round 20 and round 40. And this is probably the most widespread place in the entirety of the game, because you have to figure out how to pop balloons, pop all different types of balloons. Camos come out, leads come out, lots of purples come out, big chunks of balloons, ceramics come out for the first time, and the Moab. The most variety in the entire game here, so it's not just a one-trick pony. But the answer to most of your problems is going to be starting to mess around with damage and possibly a little bit of support. All right, so damage is the ability of a tower to go through multiple layers in a single shot. Right now, none of these guys do any damage. They just do a lot of pierce, so they're good for cleanup. Random balloons coming through here, we're going to take them down. The sniper, on the other hand, is going to do damage. So he's going to take these pink balloons down into a red. He's going to take the black balloons down into a blue. He's going to take the white balloons down into a blue. And that is so unbelievably helpful, you do not realize it. Skipping all those layers, I mean, we don't need to have all those projectiles doing all these different things here. We've already taken them down to a low layer. We just sort of do cleanup with them. So I think a really nice tower is a full metal jacket with even faster firing. Now, another thing I want to point out is that at this point in the game, rounds 6 to 20, you don't really want to think about, like, money. I'm wasting money by building these towers. That is not what you want to think about. Round 20 to 40, you can start to waste money a little bit. But generally speaking, still, just get the defense up. Don't think about a long-term strategy too much. The only thing you want to think about is don't put towers that you may be planning on building later on in really important good spots that you're just wasting. For example, some of the key spots in this map are going to be right around here and right around here. Okay, so if I put my Dart Monkey and my Engineer right in the middle of the map and I don't plan on upgrading them very far, well, I just wasted my space. That's not good. So leave those open if you can, and just throw your towers sort of nearer to the back of the map to let them like, sort of do cleanup or whatever. All right, I'm feeling pretty good at this point, though. I feel like we don't really have an extreme weakness or anything. Camo Bloons are probably my biggest weakness, with Quincy only having a little bit a limited camo detection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw down a tower here that I think is going to help us out quite a bit. It's almost impossible to go wrong with this tower in the early-ish game, so I'm going to highly recommend it to people. We're talking about something that'll help with camo detection, and something that'll help with a lot of balloon popping power, a Wall of Fire Wizard. Alright, the only real weakness to this guy is the fact that purples can still do some pretty decent damage to us. But other than that, this guy is solid all the way through and through. Probably the best tower between round 20 and 40 in the entire game, but he doesn't fall off that much, which is the key part to him. He still is pretty good, even through the 80s and even through the 90s. He's just that powerful. I'm just going to say it, when you get the money, I'm a big fan of this tower, especially if you're a newer player in the game. Even if you don't plan on upgrading later on, there's no reason that this is ever going to be a waste of money. A Sentry Expert, even in the late game, he can freeze Super Ceramics and stuff in the back of the map and still do damage to them. He's solid. So we're going to go for Sentry Expert, and because he's in the back of the map, normally I'd go for this path, but I just know it's going to be so much better to get a pin. Now, if any Bloons ever do get to the very back here, we're going to stun them, keep them in place, and eventually just take them down. So I like my team because I have every type of popping power. I have something that can do a decent amount of damage, something that can do a decent amount of cleanup, and towers in the back to make sure nothing will sneak through my defense, right? But now, I've only got 3 rounds left until the Moab's ready to come out. I've got to figure out what do I want to get to pop this Moab. There's so many options, but the general idea for me, I think, the best plan of action is usually a military monkey. Alright, I'm talking Helipallet, I'm talking Monkey Ace, I'm talking Buccaneer, even Sub, maybe even Dartling Gun. You can even use the Sniper a little bit if you're feeling it. Large caliber or semi-automatic rifle is not a bad part of your team. In this situation, though, it was just such a perfect spot. We're going to go for a somewhat weird top path Destroyer. Alright, I like this guy because he's going to have a pretty decent amount of projectiles for us. He's going to be easily buffed by all of my stuff that I eventually get here. And I like him for Moab pop power. I don't think I need to worry about cam detection all that much, so I'm going to go for the Grape Shot combo with the Hot Shot combo. This will not help us out against the Moab that much, but it will help us out against the Bloons, and I just kind of like that. So, against the Moab, give it everything you got. If you got an ability with Quincy, you press that frickin' button. If you got other abilities ready to go, you press that button. You make sure this Moab does not sneak through your defense, because that is the worst way to lose. But now, we move on. Round 41 plus. 41 to 60. Now, at this point, you're going to start dealing with a lot more Bloons, and you're going to start having to deal with some more Moabs. This is your buffing time. You want to make sure that all of your towers that you currently have on the screen are buffed, not to the max, but at least buffed or getting ready to be buffed. So, what I want to get is I want to get a quick village in here. I want to give everybody cam detection inside of here, so I don't have to worry about cam detection ever again. And then I'm going to give them jungle drums so I can shoot even faster. And then I got to start think about, like, well, what kind of other kind of towers can I put inside of that range that will help me out for that? So, unfortunately, we can't quite afford this cam detection yet, so we're going to have to rely on Quincy to do some of our cam detection here. But now, we have it forever, right? There is no loss of cam detection ever again. We have it, and now every single tower in this radius is going to get 15% bonus in attack power. That's an absurd thing to say. It doesn't really actually help us out that much right now, but forever, that 15% bonus will persist and always be better for us. So, between 40 and 60, what do? Again, you want to buff, and you want to kind of just extrapolate out whatever other towers you're going to kind of want to get. So if you already have a pretty good loadout, a pretty good team that you're thinking, I would not mind some 3rd tiers and 4th tiers and 5th tiers of this set, awesome. If not, get ready to start building those and start planning your late game stuff. At this point, money will actually go towards your late game gameplay. So if you start wasting all your money in the 40s and wasting all your money in the 50s, you might be a little upset by it. Just to survive. So my key tower here, I really like, is I'm thinking Alchemist. So I'm going to get rid of this guy. I want to get my Alchemist next to Quincy. I want him to buff Quincy, and I don't mind if he buffs anybody else. So we're going to go for a quick, stronger stim. I like the combo with the middle path here as well. Perishing potions and all. And now I'm currently buffing Quincy. Probably going to buff my Wizard a little bit, but that doesn't matter too much right now. And I've got a good overall solid defense. I'm great against the Bloons. I'm decent against the Moabs. We've done a good job. So let's kind of just wait this out, build up some money, and start planning our actual good defense for the long term. So whenever I do these strategies, I'm a pretty big fan of towers that you don't need to micro much. This is a tower that we will need to micro for like a few seconds in here, but it's not a massive micro tower. It's not like using abilities all the time or anything like that. We're talking about the Dartling Gun. Alright, so we're going to put it in range of our village. It's kind of a weird spot for Dartling because a lot of players are going to put it near the back here, but it's going to make sense if we realize we're going for a bottom path Dartling gun. He is going to pop these ceramics really well, he's going to pop the mobs really well, and if you're willing to aim for just a couple rounds in here, we'll eventually get a Bads, and that guy will have his own targeting system, which will allow us to just kind of leave him alone and let him do his own pops. Right, here we go. Bads is currently up. As far as cross paths go, oh no, let's talk about this first. Targeting. You can leave them on normal targeting, and you can aim around wherever you want to. It's not bad. You can put them on locked targeting, so if you have a specific way that you just really want them to shoot, that's fine. But realistically, target independent is likely to be the best solution for you. But don't forget that when he's doing this, he's got 4 barrels, and they're going to attack 4 different ways. First, last, close, and strong. So they are going to actually target in somewhat of a weird way, I guess. Now, luckily, we have cam detection with our village here, so we don't need to worry about this. So I'm going to go for the top path laser shock upgrade, which will not help us out that much right now, but it will give us a decent amount of aiming quality, I guess. And then, hopefully, in the long run, it'll actually give us more popping power with the Bez. So now we're in the 60s to the 80s. All right, this is where the game gets kind of wild. If there is a toughest round between round 60 and 80, it's got to be around 63. I think. Overall, it's probably the round that kills me the most, if not 75. So 63 is going to be Bloons. Now, if you set yourself up decently well, you should have a decent defense for these Bloons, but I still suggest use your abilities, man. You're going to be happy. You can do a basically triple ability play. The way that almost all heroes are going to work is you can use your first hero's ability on this first set of Bloons. Then you use the big ability on the second set, and by the time the third set comes out, you get your first ability back. It doesn't always work that way, so if you need to, you can kind of just save your ability for the hardest part, which is round 63's last set. That is a bigger set than the previous 2 sets, which not a lot of people know. And there we go. We take him down. So at this point, it's about saving money. You want to hopefully have a decent defense at this point that you've been able to easily defend with for most of the game, and you want to start saving as much money as you possibly can, but also just knowing that if you have to save up for a $50,000 tower, you can't spend any money until you have that $50,000, so you really have to plan accordingly and know that you can't just have this defense beat round 63, you can't just beat round 67, you beat round 75, 76, 78, 79, 80, 81, maybe even 82 and 83 before you're going to get that money to actually defend here. So to hope that this is enough, and the only extra bonus you're going to get here is your hero is going to keep on getting stronger. All right, don't forget about that. Having 15 rounds where the balloons aren't that much more tricky, but we get extra bonuses out of our hero is a very good sign to have. So before I forget, I am going to go for one more tower here. I'm going to go for another Alk, and I want to Alk specifically this Bads, but I also want to buff the Destroyer as well. So we're going to go for Stronger Stand with Perishing Potions. It's going to give us extra Ceramic and Popping Power, and now it's a race for whatever 5th tier you've decided to be your main key defensive tower, and I've picked the Bez. All right, usually I say from 60 to 80, you just kind of wait it out. You just wait for that money to roll in, see what small little minor changes you might need to make at this point. Do I need an extra Spike Factory in the back to defend, or a random Wall of Fire Wizard, or maybe a random Ice Tower, or maybe a low-tier cannon just to make sure I can pop the Bloons on around 76. Like, whatever you need, try to make it small. Small, minor changes at this point. Your defense should be set up, for the most part, to defend mostly everything. So I'm just going to wait this out. Round 78. We've got 30k saved up at this point, so we're doing all right. But this is a fairly difficult round, so whenever possible, just know that these rounds that are difficult, don't feel bad about pressing your abilities on them. All right, it's not like you absolutely 100% need it, but it's better to be safe than sorry. At this point, we're only about halfway to our Bez, so we still need to save up for quite a few rounds here. The good news is that the early 80s are bank. All right, so we got to start talking about the 80s now. Now, the 80s are going to be the 80 to 100. The first thing is get your big 5th tier, whatever you've been saving for it, whether it's 1 or 2 5th tiers that you've been trying to save up for most of the game, get those guys going. But soon after that, you are going to start to have to realize that you cannot survive with just 5th tier towers. You're going to have to support them a little bit. So you're going to want to buy some support towers after that. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Just know that for now, we're still saving up for our Bez at this point, and if we need to, we will support ourselves just minorly. So check this out. We got BFBs up the wazoo. I should say that I do really like this strategy, but I will say that the Bads does start to fall off a little bit at this point in the game, and it's partially because we are not aiming properly. So if I leave him on normal and I actually aim properly, I'm going to be so much better off because I get to pick which balloons I'm actually hitting here, instead of just randomly shooting in all different directions, popping all of them at the same time. So I am going to take over for a little bit with my manual targeting, kill all the balloons coming out of the top first, and then as soon as I can, I'll start taking ones on the other side as well. But it's going to be a few more rounds here before we can save up our delicious, delicious cash flow here. All right, things are going pretty well overall. We do have to kind of switch off back and forth on the big balloons here when we got a bunch of mobs coming out. So we're going to swap back and forth here, and we're going to get our 62k in just possibly by the end of this round. If not, hopefully by the end of the next round here. But again, we have abilities, so don't feel bad about using them. Oh yeah, look at this. Bez money is like coming in hot right now. Oh yeah, give me that money. All right, Bez 62 is 640. We're at 62 already, and 62 640. Bez is currently up. Now this is a game-changing tower. All right, now this is not the only way to play. I just wanted to show off the Bez because I like him a lot, and I think a lot of people underestimate the power of the Bez. I'm gonna put him back on targeted dependence so he can just do his own thing now. But he does have one weakness. All right, and this is where you're going to start building other towers that are going to support your overall team, your overall squad. Know what your weaknesses are. There's two towers that I'm going to recommend 100%. There's nothing wrong with them in any situation ever. It's going to be Middle Path Glue, Middle Path Ice. You know what? I'm also going to throw in Middle Path Ninja. All three of those guys slow the balloons down, give you extra popping power, and help you out a lot. But unfortunately, I actually need a different tower here. I need something that's going to allow me to pop leads properly, which is going to be my MIB. Elk can only do so much on a fast-shooting tower like this, so we're going to confirm it with a MIB, and know that Quincy's still leveling up over here. He's still getting stronger and stronger. And now at this point, we can decide whatever we want to do. I still like support towers. All right, so I'm going to go for that Digisabo. Throw him out of range of Elks and stuff, but I do want to make sure he's at least in range of being able to pop balloons. And we're going to kind of watch the balloons get owned for a little while, realistically. So, Bez does kind of look like he's chasing a little bit or whatnot, but don't forget that I actually have a lot of popping power in the back of the map here, so don't forget about that. This guy is surprisingly good. So, one other tower that I'm actually going to recommend, if you get your towers kind of set up in a reasonable way, where you're like, I feel comfortable with this, I kind of like this loadout. Another tower that I really like is a safety net tower. So, I like spike factories. Alright, I'm thinking just a really quick top path, spike ball factory, probably with fast production and even fast production. It's a goofy tower, but it means a lot for your overall defense here. Next up, I think I'm going to go for that ice tower I was telling you guys about. I really like it. I think it's a good addition to our team, and because I have a MIB already, it really doesn't matter what we put it next to. Everything should be able to pop those ceramics no problem. So I'm going to throw him... You know what? Yeah, I don't know where I want to put him. Quincy just got to level 20. That's a huge bonus. Let's just put him up here. I don't love the spot because it's not going to be helpful against round 100, but it doesn't really matter that much. It will help us out for round 98, which is an important round for us. We're going to go Snowstorm, and we're going to go top path here. I always like top path because it will affect DDTs without needing anything else going on with it. So Permafrost and Cold Snap, make sure you can affect DDTs. All right, round 95. Normally a very difficult round for us. We're going to easily own it, though. We're going to use our support towers to our advantage, and our nice safety net here to make sure that nothing's going to sneak through. Another single balloon, so if one balloon sneaks through, we do lose that game, right? All right, Cold Snap is up. I have not been using my abilities, by the way, but use them as you need them. You know, tougher maps are going to need them, you know, more often and all that stuff. But this feels good. Another support tower that I think you should go for is if you have those 5th tiers available, right? One easy way to increase your popping power by a crap ton is got to be that Overclock Engineer. So we're going to throw down another Overclock Engineer in the back. I don't really care about the Cleansing Foam all that much, but I do care about this Overclock when we can finally get it going. I think we're going to probably buy it on round 98, but at least we can use it when we want it. Right, so here we go. Round 97 goes down easy. Now we get a big, beefy round here. I would suggest using your abilities at this point. Quincy, powered up with an overclocked alchemy buff, is straight up redonkulous, by the way. If you haven't checked it out, it's really, really, really good. But still, Bez might end up being better here, kind of unfortunately. Here we go. We're going to use Quincy's ability to kind of clean up a lot of these balloons. Bez is still kind of attacking things all over the place, so we're going to overclock him. That'll also help us out for... Did I overclock the wrong tower? No, I got him. That's also going to help us out for DDTs here, and we can stall or stun these guys if we need to. We've got more abilities ready to go, so we don't need it, though. A really nice support tower that can stop DDTs as well. And finally, round 100, the bad. So you can see the pop power here. It's only got about 25,000 health, so you can see when it's going up thousands at a time, you know this thing is going to go down nice and easily. So we're going to overclock him again. kind of unfortunately. I kind of want to show off my Quincy ability, but boom, boom, we take it down, and the bat goes down as well. And that is a broken down Chimps game for you. We broke it down into 5 different sets, 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, and 80 to 100. And you've got to kind of know what you're getting into in each one of these rounds. But hopefully this helped you guys out just a little bit. If it did, press that like button. Make sure you subscribe and hook a brother up with this SJB creator support code. It really does support me, guys. And I really, really appreciate it when you guys just type in a button. Even if you don't buy anything, it means a lot to me that you click my button and it's loaded in there. So Ninja Kiwi knows that you've used my code. Thank you.